Hi guys, it's me. Before we go into the video, I wanted to explain that we had a horribly windy day during the filming of this, and the wind was running in several different directions. It kept blowing and moving, and it made picking up audio just absolutely horrible. Now I'm going ahead and posting the video because what you can hear is probably quite interesting, but I do apologize for the terrible, terrible audio from it. And the only thing I can say is if somebody really doesn't like it, but you really like my videos, you go ahead and buy me a portable mic and battery pack, send it to me and I'll use it. But I can't afford one right now, and I did the best I could. So what there is of this, I hope you enjoy it. But you trolls out there, go hide under a rock because I already know the audio is terrible. We'll deal with it, or don't watch it. Watch the next one. Thanks. Here's the video. Hello everybody, it's Robert Earl out here at the Eco Ranch in far west Texas. We're hiding out in the garage. We're hiding out in the garage for a very good reason. Most of the country would say that we are in the middle of a massive windstorm. Now, out here we call this a gentle breeze, but because I have guests that don't live out here, we're going to hide out here, and also because nobody likes to hear that rooster crow. Nobody likes to hear that wind in the camera, and I understand that. So we're hiding out in the garage here. And I've got a very, very special guest with me here that, first of all, I'm very honored to have and very pleased to have. And secondly, I think it's going to be kind of interesting. So the title of this is A Discussion with Jeff Harmon, which happens to be the name of the man that's sitting right here. This is Jeff Harmon from Missouri Wind and Solar. And not just from... Yeah, that's something to crow about, I'll guarantee you. He's not just from there, he's the owner. Jeff, hello.
Hello, Robert.
Now, before we get into this any, if you don't know anything about the wind turbine wars, I'm not going to educate you right now. There's a couple of videos I've done on it. They've been around for a while, and people generally just pick at each other and make targets. So right now, there's a runner that's going to stay on the bottom of this video, and the runner is going to say, do not reproduce in any way, and I mean it. We are not going to take anything Jeff says, cut it and piece it together, and make it sound like, right, like he said, Lucifer incarnate, or worse, make it sound like all he's doing is crowing. This is a little discussion with Jeff and I. We're not getting involved in we're talking about business. But you may not reproduce this, and if you do, well, I might come and give you a visit. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want a visit from a guy whose idea of fun is juggling 90-pound rocks all day long, so we're going to move on. Jeff, what got you into wind energy in the first place? And just kind of... The peanut gallery's always got a lot to say here, but really, what got you into wind energy?
Well, 2007, when the economy crashed, it kind of took out my business that I was in. I used to be in the concrete business, ornamental concrete. We built concrete tables and that sort of stuff.
Nice.
So I decided, well, in 2007, it kind of looked like the world was coming to an end to me. I mean, I says, I think the whole U.S. is just going to collapse. So I was thinking, I want free electricity at my place. Power goes out, all of that. I want free electricity. So I decided to start looking around for wind. I didn't know anything about solar, didn't know anything about wind. But I always liked wind turbines. And actually, I made a simple one a long time ago. When I got into it, I tried to get information on wind turbines everywhere, call people and talk to them, and nobody really wanted to talk to you. And a lot of people just didn't have any information on wind turbines. So I decided to just start buying wind turbines off the internet, trying them out, and figure it out.
I see.
Just be self-taught. I wasn't getting any information. So eventually, I got tired of asking for all the information. I said, you know what, there's a lot of improvements that can be made with wind turbines. And I don't mind starting a company up and answering people's questions, actually flying all the products in the store, all all the different wind turbines, working on, and just started doing it.
I see. Well, and which brings me to something I didn't write down here. You have a store.
Yeah.
You have an actual store, not a corner of your mother's basement, not a page on not one page on the internet, an actual brick and mortar store.
Yeah, we've got a brick and mortar store in Seymour, Missouri. That's right by Springfield, Missouri. Well, actually, I was just going for free electricity. My business is really kind of big. And I thought, you know what, to hell with this. I want to be in the wind turbine business. So I said, I have to make a living. I have to eat. So we just kind of started selling wind turbines. And I started changing the designs and the looks and the performance of them. Anyway, before you know it, I just started getting bigger and bigger. We answered, it was Molly and I, that's the business. We just answered the phone. People would call me and ask me, put them on a tower, and I just talked to people for hours on the phone. Before you know it, business just started growing. It kept getting bigger and bigger. And I didn't go into free electricity. It just looked like the American. It just looked like we were going into a depression.
Well, I saw the same thing back then. But now, so in looking for an income for yourself and for electricity. Well, thank you. We had to pause just then because the wind briefly shifted direction and started to blow the camera over, as you saw. And both Jeff and I, being we're not 20 anymore, we lost our train of thought.
That's correct.
No idea where he was going, and I'm not going to go back and play this back, so we're just going to pick up from there. So, pretty much what you just said, and I agree with you, even if you are a climate disruption denier, that's okay. Let's agree to disagree on that point. But let's think about things like, okay, well, you know, how about if I insulate my windows? How about if I caulk? How about if I put some extra insulation in my roof? How about if I put a wind turbine up? We can all agree that by cutting our energy costs and saving money, now saving money is something we can agree on. So if you're not, you know, if you're a denier, that's fine. We'll agree to disagree, just like Ed Begley Jr. says. That's a good guy for folks that aren't too hot on climate disruption. Should listen to him, because Ed Begley really has the rap, has the speech down, and I think he does a great job, and it'll help you. So. You like him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's and what's nice about him too is he may not be an A-list star, but he has money, and he still does not overlive his what am I going to say? He doesn't live large. That's what I'm going to say.
Right. And solar that he uses.
He does. By the way, where do you see micro wind moving as we move forward? Where do you see it going?
I think it'll just keep getting bigger and bigger as we realize that it's capable of something electric on the grid like always room for improvements in micro wind. There's always a better motor to be built that will be smaller, more efficient, put out more power. There's always something to tweak on wind turbines to make them better. And that's what we do at the store. We do a lot of R&D at the store. We've got our own wind tunnel for testing. And of course everybody's already seen wind.
Not everybody is. You actually built yourself a wind tunnel.
It's expensive. We put a lot of money and time into it. That's the only way we could actually do is actually have a wind tunnel to put them into. In the beginning, we started put them on the roof of the store. I didn't have any towers. And I ran up and down off that roof thousands of times. said, "This is ridiculous. I was going to wait for the wind." So eventually, after 8 years, we built a wind tunnel. It's pretty cool. I mean, now
I've seen it.
all of our tests-
I've seen it. It's decent. Which we've mentioned the word micro wind 3 times. Maybe you should define micro wind for people.
Right, so a micro wind turbine is basically something a homeowner buys and installs himself. They'll have blades of say like 6 foot diameter, that sort of thing. That's a micro.
Not 300 feet.
No, not 300
Okay.
feet. No, those are the big wind turbines. So it's actually the benefits of having micro wind turbines is you can have several of them at pretty inexpensively. Like Robert, he's got quite a few wind turbines. Or you could put up one large wind turbine, which the drawback to that is if the thing breaks down, you simply out of power. You take it to a big fix, and it costs a lot of money. Very expensive. So, wind turbine, I mean, that's what I'd say. One goes down, and then the rest of them are still making power until it replaces or repairs the one that he has.
Well, and the interesting thing is, and I hadn't met Jeff back then, so I did get my turbines from another supplier. And the interesting thing about them is, I put the one on, I didn't see much. Wasn't doing much of anything for me. But the second one wasn't doing too much. But beginning with number 3 is where I started to see power when the wind blew, and then I got 4 and 6. 6 is what I have, although. Well, actually, I have 5 now. Jeff just brought me number 6, so I'm real excited to get number 6 reinstalled. But I now, if the wind is blowing like this at night, I'll wake up in the morning with fully charged,
Yeah.
which
yeah.
I like.
Yeah, well, everybody always says, what's better, wind or solar, or they say solar is better. I go, you can only get 8 hours of power out of solar panels, but you can get 24 hours a day out of a wind turbine if the wind's blowing. Like your wind's blowing here today, 30 miles an hour, he's getting a ton of power. But this can go on all night long in 7 days.
Yeah, it can.
I'm only going to get 8, so actually one isn't any better than the other. You
They're
can have-
complementary.
They're complementary. To have both is a great idea.
Now, Jeff and I have sat here for 2 days talking and talking, so when I say we've discussed, yeah, we've discussed, you just weren't part of it yet. So we've discussed that the planet may be beyond many tipping points in terms of man-made activity. Now, if you don't believe in it, then just kind of bite your tongue for a minute. But we've discussed that, and in view of the direction that the country is going and the world is going, and we may have hit some of this stuff, how optimistic? Quiet. How optimistic are you about the future?
Truthfully,
Yes.
not too optimistic, especially with what's starting to happen now. And I think now, that's a hard one to answer right now. The way things are, I would start learning how to be self-sustaining. I would learn how to grow your own food. You know, it's not hard to get your own chickens. Anybody can raise chickens, like those.
Yeah, can anybody learn how to shut the damn things up when the camera's running?
But I think all the younger people now, you and me grew up through some really good times.
Yeah.
Actually, really good times.
Vietnam. Woohoo!
Yeah, excellent. Yes. Well, but it was a whole different time. And now we're coming into a time to where there's nothing but corruption everywhere. The pollution is just insane. The water is being destroyed everywhere. And I think it's just, it's up to all the young people to take care of this. I mean, we're already doing what we can do. I mean, there's still a lot more stuff for us to do. But eventually it's going to be turned over to all the young people. They're the ones got to deal with all of this. They got to deal with it right now. So I'm not going to get into politics stuff.
No, that's not the intention. We don't want to talk politics. Because I can tell you as a liberal, I'll get into politics for a second. As a liberal, I'm not optimistic. But as an intellectual, I have enough optimism, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to say, okay, maybe things aren't going in my direction, but I'm going to give it a chance to see if maybe my direction is in fact the wrong one. And that probably separated me from every other liberal in the country right then, but yeah, I can give it a chance.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like buying a lottery ticket. The fastest way to ensure that you don't win the lottery is to not buy a ticket. The fastest way to ensure that the planet continues to degrade is to do nothing.
Well, most of the young people have never seen a depression or a real bad recession. My advice to them, stop living beyond your means. That's the big one. That's my suggestion, because it's not going to be able to continue. I think you're going to see a real sudden stop come to that sort of lifestyle pretty soon.
So the 5-planet lifestyle we can't do anymore? We got to go to a 1-planet lifestyle?
Yeah,
One planet lifestyle.
planet lifestyle.
My Facebook page.
And I don't know what that is.
1-planet lifestyle.
Yeah.
Americans live at a 5-planet lifestyle. In other words, it takes 5 planets to support the way we live if every human on the planet lived the way we do.
I know what you're talking about.
So in Europe, it's 3 planets. Well, we only have 1, so 1-planet lifestyle. Hey, I'm cutting this in the middle somewhere, so it's going to look out of place, but if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I wing everything. I very seldom have a script. This was just some questions. And I am 64 years old, and I've drank heavily my whole life. Plus, I lived through the 60s and only remember 67. So I kept saying Missouri Wind and Power. And I want to get this right. It's Missouri Wind and Solar. Missouri Wind and Solar. Jeff Harmon, one of the most generous people that I have met. And I mean that sincerely, and it's Missouri Wind and Solar. Back to the video. Anything else you want to add?
No.
Hey, I've never done this before. I'm a lousy interviewer. I'm a better interviewee because I love to talk, but hey, I hope you enjoyed us doing something different. I hope you enjoyed, if you've seen Jeff on any of his videos at Missouri Wind and Power, good. If you haven't, you need to go and see some of his. If you've seen some that cast him as Lucifer incarnate, been to the man's house, been to the man's business, spent some time with both him and his wife and his children. No, he's a pretty decent guy. So I would urge you to go and check out his stuff. And he's always here, and your people are always there to help, even if you don't buy your things from Jeff. This was a little different. I seriously enjoyed it, and Jeff, I want to thank you very much for agreeing to sit down with me.
Sure.
He doesn't like to do, and he doesn't do interviews, and I said, this isn't an interview, this is a discussion. So folks, with that, I will say this is Robert Earl out here at the Eco Ranch in far west Texas, minus Cascade the Wonder Dog, saying see you later. Wait a minute, there was hair there.